Namaste. I shall like to tell you something about centering, spiritual centering. Centering, of course, we all have heard about these words: centering, shuttering, grounding, more to do with construction and electrical activities, when you ground the wires to the earth, and centering when you do shuttering in structural activities. But here, centering is centralizing the mind, the random and reckless mind, flowing in its thoughts in entropy, in disorder, like it is the characteristic of energy to flow in entropy. As per the second law of thermodynamics, it flows unconsciously, in a subconscious manner, in autopilot, without being self-aware. That's how the mind is. The phenomenal, limitless mind becoming limited because of its flowing in disorder, whereby we are not able to utilize its limitless potentiality simply because we are not concentrating on one single thought. We are multitasking, thinking of many things at the same time. We are on autopilot from the memory and the intellect. We are not using our own personal individual intelligence as much as we should. So centering is very important in the art of living. It's a very important factor. So centering, what is centering? It is focusing your mind towards a single thought. In short, it means slow the mind and awaken the soul. The gross energies of your body, the subtle energies of your mind, flowing towards the core energy that is the soul, which is lying dormant within the mind, the witnessing self, the pure consciousness. And you are functioning in autopilot on lower consciousness, ego consciousness, where you're only concerned about your ego self, your me and mine, your desires demanding and dictating, your mind using you instead of you using the mind. You're being used by your own mind. Can you imagine that? Yes, in the material world, okay, centering is there. But when is it there? When you're watching a thriller in a cinema hall or in front of your TV, when you're watching something very thrilling, very exciting, and you're totally focused towards that. Or when you're reading a very interesting book. Or when you're very intently listening to somebody talking whom you're really impressed about. That is material concentration. We are here talking about spiritual, which is a transformation of the centering from the mental into the spiritual, from the mental into the spiritual. So centering is grounding the energies and sending it towards its core. Like you sent the electric impulses to neutralize them into the earth. That's grounding and that's centering. That's grounding and that's centering. So, how do we go about it? How do we go about it? First is breath. beautiful flow of energy. Involuntarily it goes in. Involuntarily it goes out. Voluntarily you can regulate it for a little while through deep breathing, through yoga, through meditation and whatnot. Through breathing. Breathing is, as Hindu sages refer to, prana, life energy, spiritus in Latin. It is that energy which connects the body to the mind, the heart to the mind, through breath, through oxygen, and the mind to the soul, in meditation, in meditative awareness, where you are awakening the soul through deep breathing. And mind, when you're angry, and suppose you watch your anger and start breathing, deep breathing, there's a pause, there's a stop. And you can self-reflect on that anger and it simmers down, it subsides. And you come to realize whether it's worth all that anger or not. So breath can do a lot of things as long as you're aware of it. So, besides breathing, thankfulness. We living creatures, say from plants, animals to human beings. Plants are living, they are also aware. Animals are living, they are aware and conscious. Of course, less than us. But they do not destroy the planet. Whereas we, with the highest potentiality, thou art that, what are we doing? This is the first generation where the planet Earth is in danger. In spite of all the digitalization and advancement in technology and whatnot, with all the comforts, most of us, 80% of us, as it is said, we are suffering from anxiety, from depression, from despair, from despondency. We are suffering. We are not happy for long. They are all short-lived. Why? Because the whole human life is totally imbalanced towards the material self being so high and the spiritual self being zero. Nobody knows what is spiritualism, spirituality. It's the spirit, the soul, the awareness, the consciousness. There's so many interpretations, meanings. Everybody is confused. If you ask anybody what is the soul, he would not know. He would say it's the ground of our being, it's the essence of our being, it's the center of our being. It goes from one life into another and all sorts of things they will say. But what is the role of the soul plays in our life? Why do we have to include all three, body, mind and soul, as one? We know quite a lot about the body and mind, but how much do we know about the soul? Hardly anything. So centering, awakens the soul. It is an art of living. So besides being thankfulness, be appreciative. It's how to develop a positive mindset, a soulful mindset where you are less negative. When over 80% of your thoughts are negative and the balance 20%, these are repetitive thoughts on negative factors, where positivity is hardly 5% in majority of the cases. So we have to develop not a mindful mindset, but a soulful mindset, where besides being thankfulness, Be appreciative. Besides having gratitude, admire others. Learn how to give credit to others besides giving only to yourself. All the time we are trying to give credit to ourselves, trying to prove how smart we are, how superior we are, how much we know more than you. Argue, debate on everything, on every factor, contradict. Have this feeling of appreciation, admiration for others. Then we go down, let's talk about contentment. Contentment is the initiation of spiritualism within you, to awaken that spirit, to awaken that soul. Only after you are content from material wants, which is also necessary, as necessary as being spiritual, to go into the processes of spirituality, to learn this and understand the subject of spiritualism as to who and what is the spirit. So, contentment is extremely important. How can you, without being content, evolve and transform from your lust and greed, from your identification and attachments, clinging on to all that you have accumulated? How can you? So contentment is very important, to have a spiritual mindset. And a spiritual mindset is a soulful, positive mindset, away from negativity, where you learn how to surrender and accept. Surrender not to somebody else, but surrender to your own ego. And accept reality, existentially the way it is, as it is, without confronting. Learn how to reduce your contempt, your desires, your lust, your greed, your anger, your jealousy. All these are negative factors leading to fear and insecurity. And on the other hand, like I've said, be thankful, have gratitude, learn how to appreciate, be graceful, have respect for others, be content, and be humble. Be humble. Don't think no end of yourself. Be humble. When the fruits of a tree become ripe, the tree starts bending down. Similarly, as you become mature, as you evolve, as you become content, bend. Learn how to bend. Learn how to listen. Learn how to be silent. Learn how to be silent. For that is what is required, for that peace and tranquility in the mind, for that balancing between the material and the spiritual, for that clairvoyance, equipoise, and all those fancy words. It's required to be humble in humility for the sake of humanness, to become humane in humanity. It is extremely important. For that you'll have to give a pause between the material and the spiritual, to introspect, concentrate and meditate. You'll have to give a pause between the stimulus and the respond. If the respond is reactive always through emotions and desire and attachment, then it's difficult. You have to learn how to be proactive spontaneously also at times, and not always calculate and evaluate and analyze every thought. That is why the mind always thinks in the past and projects that into the future, bypassing the present. Because it takes too much of time analyzing, evaluating, emotionally thinking for its me and mine, how much it can extract from the others, or from the environment, or from the planet Earth. So centering takes you towards self-awareness, the ability to perceive inwards into your own mind and thoughts, to become spiritual, to go towards higher consciousness. Centering is a very important part, how to initiate your spiritual life. Thank you for listening.